Harding Carter Sr. Pretty controversial, pretty progressive, maybe even liberal. We invited him to speak at a forum. A lot of white leaders in the state called the chancellor and said, don't let that rabble that come on that campus. And Jim Silver and I went to see the chancellor. And we talked to him about it and urged him not to cancel him because to his credit he did not. And so Harding Carter came. But it stirred up a ruckus around the state. And when I got to the legislature, I became known as a friend of that communist at Ole Miss, named Jim Silver. They were really happy. So right after I got there, one member of the legislature, who incidentally was a student in the law school at Ole Miss, who professed to be an authority on what was going on their campus, got up in a secret session of the legislature, and this was the headline the next day in the Jackson Daily News. Soldiers in secret session here to hear red names. Name Ole Miss props. And one of them that was cited out primarily was my friend Jim Silver. So when he called these names, and I knew all of them, I knew they were excellent professors, widely respected. So it was reported in this story that I was the only one of the legislature that got up and protested this. And it said, Representative William Weatherby, a former student over his law school, defended the teaching staff of the institution, winner a member of OEK leadership attorney, especially defended that organization and Dr. James Silver. This is when the fever really began to rise, and it exploded in the Brown decision in 1954. Well, if you want to read something that is almost like a fairy tale now, read this book by Dr. James Silver. To close this out, he discusses how thought control had taken over in Mississippi. And only really courageous teachers could bring up anything to counter that. Dr. Silver made a speech at the Southern Stars, 1963. And this book came out of that speech. And I want to read just a paragraph. Citizens Council, White Citizens Council was organized to protect segregation. And they were, here's what Jim Silver writes about it. The Jackson chapter of the White Citizens Council built up a card file containing the racial views of nearly every white person in the city. A candid Mississippian wrote the now defunct Jackson State Times, quote, if a group of serious-minded individuals armed with principles and a known philosophy of you are either with us or against us comes around to your door, demands to know your personal views and applies pressure, only a Mongolian idiot would fail to give the right answers and pay the $5 for joining. They used to come to our house. I was still in power. I wanted to know if I was one of the citizens. I told them, no, why aren't you one of the citizens? Well, I don't choose every organization come along. But here is what two legislators wrote about it. It is hard for us sometimes to consider a bill on its merits. If there's any way Bill Simmons, who ran the Citizens Council, can attach an integration tag. For instance, a resolution was introduced in the House to urge a boycott of Memphis stores because some of them had desegregated. I knew it was ridiculous and would really amuse North Mississippians who habitually shopped in Memphis. The resolution came the same week before Negroes were fined in court for boycotting Clark State stores. Yet the hot eyes of Bill Simmons were watching. If we voted against the resolution, he would have branded us. Secondly, we were approving a boycott by the Mississippi court was convicting Negroes for doing what we lawmakers were advocating. It just didn't make sense. So much of the things that were happening in Mississippi did not make sense. It led, of course, in 1962, infamous riot over the addition of one black student. For the first time, I understood after the Governor Barnett speech at a football game between Ole Miss and Kentucky out here in the stadium in the fall of 1962, when Meredith was trying to get it over with. Barnett went out at halftime and spoke to this crowd and harangued them into a state of mind that they really, those white folks in that stadium that night, really believed that the end of civilized society in Mississippi would end if Meredith was admitted to Ole Miss. They really believed that. I had some friends down there from Kentucky who came down to see the Ole Miss Kentucky football game. After the game, they didn't sit with us, sat in a different section. They came to me after the game shaken, obviously shaken by the threats that they had received when they just did not stand up when the governor got up to make his speech. And they said to me, you know, what kind of a place do you live in here? I understood there for the first time how Hitler worked up the Germany, highly cultured, intelligent society, how he worked them up to get behind the Nazi movement. So I bring this message today only to say to you how important it is that you teach the truth, that you teach history as accurately as you can, and give these young people a background that will enable them to stand up in the face of the intimidation and the brainwashing that politicians and others will be guilty of. We're not free of that. There are still issues out there that are dangerous enough, I think, that a mass hysteria can lead to all sorts of unfortunate decisions. You are the best guardians that we have. You who teach history. You are the best guardians that we have in the preservation of a free and open and just society. And I thank you for that. And so I think now I will just let you enter into a conversation and let me see if I can keep up with you. Thank you for letting me be here.
Governor, we'll have time for maybe 2 or 3 questions, then we'll leave and go to the mansion. So, Governor, I'm going to offer the first question. While you were governor, you and your wife opened up the mansion to people like Leontine Price, Ms. Welty, and other noted Mississippians. talk with us about the ramifications that brought to Mississippi and how that really allowed Mississippi to showcase its culture and its arts.
Well, my wife was some told me, and we were old, and she had black and white too, so she got brainwashed by herself at that. But when I was to be inaugurated in 1980, the new Capitol, the so-called new Capitol, was under reconstruction. It couldn't be used, so we used this building, this old Capitol building, as a place where the inauguration would take place. And it took place, my swearing in took place up on the second floor. But in this very room where we are sitting now, in this Capitol, it was something of an assembly room, just as it is right now. Mr. Welty was here, and my wife and I were here, and others were here, in a kind of a holding room before we went up to the stairs. And into this room came Miss Leontine Price, the great opera star from Baltimore. She had come down to sing the Star Spangled Banner in my inauguration. And so she came in, and she and Miss Welty met for the first time. Miss Welty, the great writer, Miss Price, the great singer. And when they met, almost right there, when I introduced them, the reaction of Leontine Price, as the world's known star, dropped to her knees and embraced Mrs. Welty like this. And she said, I am so honored to meet these two great products of Mississippi, one white, one black, meeting in that fashion. It was an especially meaningful experience for you to go away. She had been invited back several years before the fever of the civil rights movement got everybody all excited. And she was invited back, I think maybe as far back as 1949, way back then. And was not treated very well. She was not able to penetrate the segregated society of Mississippi Water. She was an national officer. So she did not have, as you will understand, a very favorable impression of her native state. So when I was ready to go, my wife and I talked about who can we have come out, national star, and bring honor, respect to the state. So we asked, through her friends-in-law, the Lindsay family down there, who was selling the students, studied at college. We talked to them, and they got Leontine to come down, and she spent the night at the mansion. We sang the Star Spangled Banner on the second floor. And it was just captivating event for her and for us. She came back twice more. Spent the night at the mansion, sang different pieces. We put her in a big bed up on the second floor, and was called that. At that time, I think it still is known as the Leontine Price room.
It is.
Yeah. So that's what we did. We had others who came in and from Mississippians who won acclaim in the entertainment world, in the literary world. I thought it, and we would invite people from all over the state to come in and meet. I thought it helped move us as a state into an era where some of the old stereotypes about Mississippi could be respected. And I think it is very first. Yes.
Governor Winter, what do you think about the state of education today in Mississippi? Public education for...
The state of public education? Well, let me answer this way.